Hey guys, Joe here, back to the Word today with a short book review for this work right here, Ministry in the New Realm, a Theology of 2 Corinthians by Dane C. Ortlund, published by Crossway Books. It's part of the New Testament theology series from them. I really love the series, have a few books from it, and want to share my gleanings and overview / book review of this work with all of you in this short video. This is Back to the Word. My channel exists to equip and encourage you to read the Bible, good books, and have conversations that truly matter. If you want more videos like this, you know what to do. So first, a little bit about the series. It's edited by Dr. Schreiner and Dr. Rosner, and they really are having people go through the New Testament and do theology treatments on each book in the New Testament, or groups of books like 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st John, and those 2nd, 3rd John, those sorts of things. The goal of the series is to have short but also accessible theological treatments for each book in the New Testament. We have exegetical commentaries that get into the deep things of the text. And you also have some overviews like New Testament, Old Testament overviews, but there really is a place and a void for a series that can, to fill, that can treat the biblical theology and the theology of each book of the Bible and how it major contributes. You know, the other thing we have is we have specific studies in theology, like on the Spirit, and it's going to go through the whole Bible and talk about how this theology, the doctrine of the Spirit develops, or pneumatology as it's called. But not just, like, you can't just go into 2 Corinthians or 1 Corinthians or Matthew and say, what's the theology of Matthew? And so that's what this series, in an accessible way, is trying to do. That's for pastors, but also classes. You could go through this to enhance your study of a book. It's accessible to everyone. Love the series. Have a few of the entries myself, and I want to share this one with you guys. So let's get into the short review portion. So who is this for? This is really for anyone. I already mentioned it a little bit. It's for anyone who wants to dive into the message of 2 Corinthians and be introduced to its biblical theology, or its theology as a whole. Dane Ortlund does a good job of treating the theology of the book, being aware of textual issues. This is a great book if you're just reading through 2 Corinthians and you want something to go a little bit deeper. Maybe your church is doing a sermon series on 2 Corinthians. Anything across the spectrum, a class, this would be a great resource to pick up. Who wrote it? So Dane Ortlund serves as senior pastor of Naperville Presbyterian Church in Naperville, Illinois. He is the author of Gentle and Lowly, The Heart of Christ for Sinners and Sufferers, and Deeper, both published by Crossway. He and his wife Stacy have 5 children together. So what stands out about this book in particular? So my bullet list right here, it's part of the New Testament theology series from Crossway. Really love some of those entries. Talked about that series already earlier in this video. This is really 2 Corinthians is the honorary kind of 4th pastoral epistle, because Paul talks so much about preaching, his ministry, how they did ministry among the Corinthians. And so that's one of the reasons I personally love 2 Corinthians and was interested in this book as well. It's 176 pages. I really love Dane's writing. I don't know someone else that has such a pastoral teaching tone to his work, but also has great complicated truths that he presents so clearly, concisely, but also with conviction. And so I love Dane's writing, and so I knew I wanted to get this book for that reason. I also agree with Gary Miller in his endorsement at the beginning. He said the first chapter on inaugurated eschatology and the last chapter on strength through weakness, kind of the big macro themes in 2 Corinthians, and the bookends to the 7 or so chapters, I believe, in this book, are worth the price of the book by themselves. Also, Dane talks about 4 ways that 2 Corinthians stands out from Paul's other letters. We see that it's very autobiographical. He gets into a lot of his story. We get a lot of Paul and who he is and his story from 2 Corinthians. He's also raw in this letter, very interpersonal about his relationship with the Corinthians, and also defensive of his ministry and how they did ministry among the Corinthians and the ministry we have from the Lord to continue doing. I also thought a good thing about this book is that Dane is aware of current Pauline studies, textual issues, and he navigates them with grace, but also clarity. I already talked about the two macro themes of inaugurated eschatology and strength through weakness. So those are the two bookend chapters. And then in the middle, you have a chapter on Jesus Christ, the launcher of the new realm, the Spirit, kind of in the empowerment of the new realm. And it's Satan, the enemy of the new realm. Friendship / Christian fellowship is also covered. And then heaven, the kind of destination of the new realm. And this is really just a helpful resource for anyone who has any reason to get into 2 Corinthians in a deeper way through study. I'm going to stop the short review right there. I've also done an Instagram review of this thing on my Instagram account if you want to go read that. Super excited for that. I'm going to do a second video on this resource, just going through my notes that I took as I was reading through this on the theology of 2 Corinthians. Some of you may never read a 176-page book, but you'll listen to me talk about the theology of 2 Corinthians and some of my gleanings from this book. And so that video will be linked in the description below when it comes out. Until next time, continue to read, treasure, follow the word. God bless, and I'll see you guys soon.